Hello and welcome to the Weaponized Body Podcast. My name is Dr. Ryan Hewitt, and as always, I'm here to share with you the latest and greatest in metabolic movement and mindset health. And today is a podcast that I've had a lot of listeners reach out to me and ask me to cover supplements. Supplements seems to be a hot topic of conversation always. I think there's a lot of people that, want to take supplements. They like taking supplements. They think supplements are, enhances their vitality and their strength and their health and their recovery, which can be true. However, there's a lot of crap out there. There's a lot of supplements out there that you're wasting your money on, likely, that you're just flushing your money down the toilet. And they are truly not a shortcut to health. On all of my episodes, I believe that I cover that you got to be pulling the 5 main levers: strength training, sleeping properly, eating a protein-based whole food diet, managing your stress, and of course, drinking suitable amounts of water for your body. So you can't out-supplement poor sleep, bad training, fake food, or a shitty mindset. But here's the thing. When used strategically, when used correctly, when used from a place of data-driven science, you can enhance your results. So, and I see this time and time again with my functional blood chemistry, with my company, Weaponized Wellness. There's a lot of tests that we do that we can monitor micronutrient sufficiency. We can see if people are sufficient in, omega-3 fatty acids and magnesium levels, vitamin D levels, etc. So this podcast is going to come with a caveat that I'm giving recommendations for the general public who isn't trying to treat a specific condition. So I'm not going to get into supplements such as gut protocols, supplements that are trying to fix like adrenal insufficiencies, or HPA axis issues, any of that stuff. So we're not trying to treat any condition specific thing here with these supplement recommendations. I'm talking, here is a list of supplements that are tried and true, that are research backed, that most people should be taking, in my opinion, and ones that I'm continually recommending to most of my patients and that I take myself. So let's jump into it. So we're going to start with this love it or leave it conversation with the supplements that I love. Again, these are research-backed non-negotiables. These are staples that I recommend to almost everybody. The first one is creatine monohydrate. There's been a lot of buzz around creatine. Once again, it always seems to just keep coming back into the conversation because it's just legit. It's a naturally occurring compound that regenerates what's called ATP. ATP is like the energy currency of your body. You probably heard of your little mitochondria, those little power plants in all your cells. They make a energy currency called adenosine triphosphate, or ATP. You need creatine in those reactions. So it's primarily stored in your muscles and in the brain as well. We're finding out more and more the benefits of creatine in the brain. So here's what research shows: that it enhances strength, improves your lean mass, your recovery, and of course, your cognitive function. It's a very safe and effective supplement across all age groups, even elderly people. I've seen recent studies in dementia populations that are doing very well with creatine supplementation. There's plenty of research. You just plug it into your favorite research site, PubMed, anything like that. It's one of the most researched and effective supplements. And it helps athletes, it helps bodybuilders, but it helps even general public, aging populations. Here seems to be the typical recommended dose is anywhere between 3 to 5 grams daily. Myself, I do 5 grams of creatine per day. I'll cycle on and off of it. You don't need to cycle on and off of it. Personally, I do not feel a difference necessarily when I'm taking creatine or not. If you're somebody like me and you eat a very high protein diet, so you're actually consuming a lot of creatine in your foods through animal protein, you probably don't need a whole lot of creatine supplementation. But if you're someone who especially struggles to get enough protein in your diet, creatine is probably going to be a really good supplement for you. And the whole like water retention, type of deal, bloating. Yeah, that's something that's just not true. And you just want to go with good old creatine monohydrate. Don't go with any of these crazy creatine, like proprietary blend bullshit. Creatine monohydrate's cheap, effective. Do it. Number 2 is whey protein. It is a protein derived from milk. So it is one of the proteins in milk, and it is a fast digesting complete protein, and it's rich in an amino acid called leucine. You may have heard of leucine. It's one of those ones that's really important for protein synthesis, and it helps people maintain protein goals. It's a really easy way to get sufficient amount of complete protein in your diet. It obviously stimulates muscle protein synthesis very nicely. And you can, again, plug it into PubMed, and you're going to see numerous studies that show increases in lean mass when paired with resistance training, especially. You still do have to give the muscles some stimulus to grow. And it's not a magic drink. So you can't just sit on the couch and drink protein shakes and get big and strong. It's just a myth. It's a convenient, high quality protein. It's great for like post-workout recovery, for example. I do it as part of a pre-workout. I put it in my Ninja Creamy at night. So I do a little bedtime snack. It's a nice, protein that you can eat in the evenings. Some people like casein protein. I generally don't like casein. Myself, I don't do well with it in my gut. But if you tolerate whey protein well, I love this supplement. It's one that I'll use probably forever. I do want to put a little caveat in here, though. You do want to make sure you're getting a good whey protein isolate that is from a high quality source. You can, in supplement companies in general, you're going to see there's going to be, GMP or third-party testing done on these companies. You want to get supplements from companies that are inviting third parties to test their supplements and release their ingredients, and make sure that what's on their label is actually what's in the damn powder. I'm weary of some crap out there that has potentially heavy metals and contaminants and baloney in it. So myself, I like to go with, a low cholesterol whey protein isolate. I love Thorne. There's a bunch of different pharmaceutical grades. You don't even have to go that far. You can go to Vitamin Shop and, pick up your favorite one. Most of the time you're going to do fine. Whey protein isolate. Love it. Number 3 on my list that I'm going to talk about today is, and this wasn't on my list even 4 or 5 years ago, and that's magnesium. I've found a really useful recommendation for a lot of people that are heavy exercisers or have high stress lifestyles, or they have sleeping issues. They get muscle cramping, muscle soreness. Magnesium is, it's, so to speak, one of the most depleted nutrients. It's one of the most common deficiencies in Western populations. It's an essential mineral. And remember I talked about ATP production and creatine monohydrate. Well, magnesium, it's involved in over like 300 enzymatic reactions in your body. So it's really, really important mineral. And my favorite versions of magnesium that I take is called glycinate and threonate. You're going to hear a bunch of different docs out there, a bunch of different practitioners. They're talking about all kinds of different varieties of magnesium. I personally love magnesium glycinate before bed, and I take magnesium threonate in the morning. You can play around with however you want to dose it. It supports sleep. It supports stress resilience, muscle recovery. And most people are deficient, especially if you're eating a lot of processed foods. Our food supply is deplete of magnesium. So again, as I said, magnesium glycinate has been shown to improve sleep and relaxation. Threonate seems to improve brain magnesium levels and cognitive function, which is why I take it in the morning. So, again, I love this supplement. Easy, cheap. I take, 200 to 300 milligrams before bed. Same thing with threonate, 200 or 300 milligrams in the morning. So those are my top 3 that I pretty much have everybody take. Now, when I am taking blood work on an individual, there are some honorable mention supplements that I'll throw out here. This one is a bit controversial for some people. Other people, this is a no-brainer, and that's fish oil. I absolutely love taking fish oil. I love recommending people take fish oil, particularly for the 2 omega-3 fatty acids in there called EPA and DHA, which are hypercritical for things like brain health and cardiovascular health. It proves that those are anti-inflammatory. There's a bunch of research that shows the benefits of lowering triglycerides, improving your cardio health in general. Here's the deal with fish oil, though, is you want to make sure you're getting it from a really good source. I hear complaints of people having fish oil repeat on them. They burp it up. If you're buying shitty fish oil, let's say that you're getting the fish oil from like your local pharmacy or whatnot. Chances are you're taking a capsule full of rancid oil. And I don't know about you, but if you've ever like tasted rancid oil, it's horrific and it's not good for you. Actually, it can cause some harm in your body if you have, oxidized omega-6, omega-3 oils. So keep in mind, like omega-3 fatty acid oils, like fish oil, have a bunch of different fats in them, not just omega-3s. So here's my rules. You want to get your fish oil from a reputable company, a pharmaceutical grade that's third-party tested. Number one. Number two, you want to make sure that it is being sourced from smaller specimens of fish, such as, sardines and, little guys, sardines and herrings, maybe, or what they're called. I don't know. Little fish. So they're not larger fish that bioaccumulate heavy metals. You also want to make sure that the fish oil is bottled and antioxidants are put in the bottle so it prevents it from going bad. And also you want to make sure your fish oil is always in a dark bottle because light penetration will also rancidify the oil. And I do keep it in a cool, dry place. You can put it in the fridge. You can keep it on your shelf as long as it's cool and dry. It doesn't heat up. And, health benefits are fantastic. So, and this is one of the tests that I do on, my VIP labs is an omega-3 fatty acid index to see if you're in fact deficient. And I can tell you, if you're not eating fish at least 3+ times a week, you're likely deficient. Here's another one that I found over the years that a lot of people are chronically deficient in, and that's either B12 or folic acid. So B12 and folic acid is critical once again for things like energy. It's involved with something called methylation in the body, detoxification, really important for mental clarity, brain health. Especially it's important for those who have what's called an MTHFR variant to supplement pre-methylated B12 folic acid. You've probably heard a lot of hype around, gene testing, such as MTHFR, and supplements out there like glycine and B12. So it's a good one to test. You want to test your serum B12 and folate to make sure that you're sufficient. If you're not, one thing that can happen is your what's called homocysteine in your body can increase. Homocysteine increases in your bloodstream is not good. It creates inflammation in your vessels. So if you're genetically predisposed, if you have an MTHFR variant, which we do test these on our labs again, there's a chance. Myself, for example, I have 2 variants. I had a really high homocysteine the first time I tested it. I had deficient B12, even though I take in a lot of B12 through my foods. So this is a supplement I take daily. Again, there's lots out there, premethylated B12 and folates. Vitamin D3. Now, how does vitamin D3, how do you stay sufficient vitamin D3? Well, you get sunshine. The sun is not out there to kill us, despite, what a lot of people think. You got to lather yourself in all this sunscreen and sunblock. Well, listen, the sun it gives life. It is there for a reason. There's a reason it feels good. You need sun. You need sun on your skin and your eyeballs in order to normalize your circadian rhythm. Of course, get routine, regular sunshine. Now, if you're like me and you live in like the northern hemisphere of North America, you probably don't get enough sun in the winter months. So it's a good idea to measure your serum D3 and make sure that you're sufficient. Myself, I supplement a 5,000 IU D3 plus vitamin K in the winter months, and I try to get some routine sunshine in the summertime. So it's actually a hormone. It's a pro-hormone. So when sun hits your skin, your body produces vitamin D. It's important for everything in your body. Literally any process involves vitamin D, like your immune system, your cognitive function, your mood, your cardiovascular health, everything. And here's the stats. 40% plus of the US population is actually deficient in vitamin D. And one thing you got to know is that a lot of people that struggled with post-COVID symptoms, or did really poorly when they contracted COVID, were vitamin D deficient. So it's really important for the immune system. So that concludes my love it list, with a bit of caveat. Now we're going to get into, I did include a couple of maybes in here. I knew I'd get a lot of like backlash on this. So there's a lot of people that take branched chain amino acids. I see a lot of people take these during their workout or for a pre or post workout. It isolates a lot of the branched chain amino acids that are involved in protein synthesis. So I don't take them personally because right now my diet consists of, I think, 260 grams of protein per day. I'm getting plenty of aminos, plenty of protein in my diet. I do not need these. They're really only useful, in my opinion, when you're fasting, or if you're in sort of like a low protein intake. It's, I think, redundant if you're already eating enough protein. So there's maybe marginal benefit if your protein's already optimized. It's not on my like essential list. The second one on my maybes is these green powders, AG ones, and all these like super greens and daily greens, all this shit. Personally, I've never believed in these. A lot of these have proprietary blends. Anything you take that has a proprietary blend, it means like, hey, we're not going to tell you what's in here because there's some magic shit we can't reveal. Again, supplements are not monitored very closely for, a lot of the ingredients. So I don't trust a lot of these. Sure, you can get them from reputable companies. If you like taking them, you like the taste and you think it helps your gut and whatnot, go for it. Probably not going to do much harm. But I do think a lot of people waste their money on these green supplements, particularly if you're already hypervigilant with your diet. You're taking in 30 grams of fiber a day. You're eating vegetables and fruits and proteins and whatnot. A lot of this green powder stuff is nonsense, in my opinion. It doesn't replace whole foods. Supposedly it gives us an additional boost of phytonutrients, sure. But maybe if you have like a deficient diet, go for it. If not, probably skip it, save some money. The next one is collagen peptides. A lot of people love this shit. I think my wife even takes collagen peptides. I think she puts it in my my Ninja Creamy at night because it tastes nice. But I do not take collagen peptides as part of my protein intake. It's not a great muscle building protein. It's hydrolyzed protein from like skin, bone, and connective tissue. Yes, I think there can be some benefit with joint support, skin health, connective tissue. It's not a complete protein, and there are some studies that show it might help with joint pain a little bit, skin and hair. But here's the thing: it's not one of those things that has like a heavily supported research. If you like collagen, sure, go for it. That's why it's in my maybe list. And I do take in a bit of collagen here and there. I love bone broth. I'll sip on some bone broth in the afternoons. If I've already, I'm done with my caffeine intake, I want a nice like hot beverage. I'll do a little bone broth. It's nice. You get a little collagen in there. It's not going to hurt you. But again, if you're spending a ton of money on collagen, you're expecting it to help you like, have bulletproof joints and build muscle. It's probably not doing that. It might help your joints a bit. One of those things like it's your choice. The next one on the list is resveratrol. So I've experimented with resveratrol. It's not one of those ones that you feel a difference on. It's an antioxidant. You're going to find it in like the skin of fruits like grapes and whatnot, and pomegranates and that kind of stuff. So there's potential anti-aging and longevity effects. So this stuff's like, all rodent studies, but it's not fully proven. It's not something that I would say you need to go take every day or spend your money on. But I'll throw it in here and there to test it out. I don't think it's harmful, but if you're on a budget with your supplements, you probably don't need it in there, especially if you're eating a complete diet, fruits, vegetables, you're eating the rainbow with your veggies. Now the last one on my maybe list is curcumin. I have played around with curcumin a lot. I don't find that it helps with any of my inflammatory joint pain or anything like that. I do have patients that do like it. There are some better ones than others. Supposedly, if you combine it with like a black pepper extract, that activates it more. I don't know how strong the research is that supports that. It can be great for chronic inflammation if you dose it properly. I think you got to take a pretty heavy dose. I would say just like eat foods that have turmeric in it, like curries and whatnot. I think there's some fantastic health benefits for those spices. Do you have to like hyperdose with curcumin? Probably not. If you like it, go for it. Yeah, if you're on a budget again and you're looking for a best bang for your buck, it's not on that list. Okay, so let's get into the leave it list. So the stuff that's on the leave it list is stuff that is, for the most part, a waste of money. Stuff that you don't need. Stuff that is, more hype and marketing than actually something you're going to get results from. The first one's fat burners. Most fat burners, if not all fat burners that are out there, they're just selling bullshit. It's usually heavily stimulant type of stuff like caffeine and yohimbine and all that stuff. You're going to get this like temporary thermogenesis type of deal. You're really just like taxing your adrenals. And it's usually just masking poor habits if you already drag ass. You know what? Your best bet for burning fat, if you want to I do a little caffeine before my workout. Caffeine can give you a nice little boost to help you work out a little harder. I just do a little black coffee. There's, caffeine powders out there. I'm not a big fan of doing anything more than like a 200 milligram of caffeine. That's a lot. Some people are dosing like double that. I'd get jittery and shit my pants personally. But you shouldn't need heavy stimulants to train, nor to get results with fat burning. Fat burning is going to happen when you optimize your sleep, your protein intake in your diet, and your training. Those are the main things. And you got to obviously drink water and optimize your stress levels. Stimulants will be counterproductive to stress levels. Stimulants will make your stress worse. So I'm not a fan of fat burners. You shouldn't be doing those. Testosterone boosters. I get these questions a whole ton. I got a lot of guys that are doing testosterone boosters, Tribulus, fenugreek, even like Tonkat Ali. Maybe there's a little bit of benefit there. Testosterone, all this kind of bullshit that really doesn't move the needle. You might get minimal or temporary test increases. Like I said, with like Tonkat Ali's got a little bit of promise to it. There's no real world like strength or muscle gain shown in studies. And listen, like most of this stuff is like $50 to $100 a month. It's not worth it. You need to get a hormone panel measured. So first of all, spend the money on the blood work, find out where you're at, find out where you're leaving money on the table, first of all, with your sleep, your training, your nutrition, your stress management. And from there, you can optimize with things that actually work, like lifestyle. And or if you've got hormone issues, you can optimize hormones with other types of stuff. This is stuff we work with Weaponized Wellness, peptides, testosterone replacement, bioidentical hormones, stuff like that. That stuff actually works. The testosterone boosters over the counter do not. Calcium supplements. I fucking hate calcium supplements. Most of them have very poor absorption. And here's the deal. A lot of them can actually increase your risk of arterial calcification with all this excess calcium you have floating around in your body. You want to get calcium from like leafy greens, dairy, obviously like clean dairy products. If you tolerate dairy, okay. You're going to get calcium from things like, bone-in fish, that type of stuff. So yeah, calcium supplements for the most part, you pretty much shouldn't be doing those. And again, we're talking just general like maintenance wellness. And I'm talking even for my postmenopausal women, a lot of them are just hammering down this calcium supplements like it's helping them and their bone density. And in fact, most of the time it's not. It's likely causing more harm than good. Now, last on my list, a lot of people probably won't like to hear this. That's, multivitamins. I am not a big multivitamin fan, especially because most of the multivitamins people are taking are like these one a day shitty multis from like Costco or CVS or Walgreens. These things, there's studies out there that say, hey, you take a multivitamin a day, you're probably going to be better off than not taking a multi. I would say most of those populations that are benefiting from multi have not optimized their lifestyle. They're not eating well. They're not sleeping well. They're not training. It's like a one size fits all approach. We all know how well those work. You got to look at your individual needs. I don't like the multis because most of them are garbage. You can get decent multis if you like taking a multivitamin to say cover your bases. And I think that's why a lot of people take the green supplements as well. But I'm going to tell you, most of the multis are pretty much trash. So the multis could be on my good list. It could also be on my definitely avoid list. My advice there is to make sure you're buying high quality if you're going to do a multivitamin, practitioner brand that's third party tested. So that's my list, folks. There's some that come on and off there all the time. That's a summary of pretty much what I take every day as far as my love it list. And again, just a reminder, like supplements should support your foundation. It is like the very tip of the iceberg or the icing on the cake, right? It's not a substitute for lifestyle, for discipline, right? So you want to build the body, build the habits, and enhance it with the right tools, and make sure you're always assessing with factual data like blood work, comprehensive blood work. So if any of you ever have any questions, you're interested in doing a weaponized body panel, just direct message me. I'd be happy to, walk you through that. Weaponized Wellness will have a website launched very shortly. So there'll be more information about the types of panels we offer and how to go about getting those. So I'm happy to audit anybody's supplement list too. You want to shoot it over to me. I'm happy to, do a free 15-minute, supplement audit with you and help you maybe reach your goals in other ways. So once again, Dr. Ryan Hewitt, hope you like this Love It or Leave It episode, supplement edition. And get after it today. I will see you guys next week.